Welcome to On the Spot, where I review movies on the spot as I just saw the movie. I saw the movie War of the Planet of the Apes, and here's my review of it. If you haven't seen the movie, see the movie before you see this review because I will go into spoilers. You have been warned. So let's get into it. I did see Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and I did see Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and I like this ape trilogy that they did. I thought it was a very good, it was a pretty good movie trilogy for the series. It's just that I still think Rise is the best one of the trilogy. Dawn was pretty good. It wasn't that memorable. I know like the character Kuba. Can't remember how to pronounce his name, but I know some of the characters in that movie, but I just don't remember a lot of the information from that movie. War of the Planet of the Apes. Let's get into that. This movie was something that I came in with low expectations, and I actually enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the movie a lot. I think it did a lot of things that was really refreshing in an action movie, especially in the summer season where you get a lot of these corny action movies. And I think this was a very good action movie. It just had a lot of issues. Not a lot of issues, but had some issues that I've had with this movie in particular. But let's get into the stuff I liked about the movie. I liked how it was filmed. I liked the cinematography of it with, some of the shots for the landscape, for the establishing shots for the landscape and these transitions that they've used. It's very engaging, and it really sets the tone of the movie. I like how the apes communicate amongst each other. It's not boring. It's not like okay, whatever. It's very interesting, and it kind of holds your attention, and you get the point. You get the point immediately when these apes are communicating and coordinating. So you're never lost into what's going on with these apes, and how they're communicating with each other. The music's really good. The music really does complement the tone of the movie that's going forward, what's going on the screen. The music's not too loud, it's not overbearing. It's perfect. It's perfect for this movie. Everything that goes on the screen, the music is just there to just kind of serve it on that dish, and it's just perfect. It really sets the mood. Um, so let's get into what I did not like about War of the Planet of the Apes, and I did not like the story as much as I liked the story. There were issues with the story. The story started off as a kind of typical revenge plot where the humans come to this base where these apes are. They kill Caesar's family. Caesar wants revenge, and the rest is history. And I liked that angle of it because it ties back to Dawn of the Planet of the Apes with Kuba, that ape, where he's like, well, he had such a vicious hatred for humans, and now I'm kind of having that same hatred, and it was very interesting. It was a very good, interesting callback to that movie, and it just jived. It really worked with the movies, and War of the Planet of the Apes. You don't really need to see the other two movies to get this movie. You'd obviously appreciate the movie more, but you don't really need to see them. But this was the one case where it was like, I really wish they went into this a little bit more, because it worked for this kind of the theme of revenge, where Caesar's going out for revenge. He's no better. He's gonna end up being no better than Kuba. He's going into this primitive mindset of revenge, and it was very interesting and unique to see this character kind of go through that path. um, until like you get to see Woody Harrelson's character. But I want to talk about the humans in this movie. I'm kind of jumping all over the place in this movie, but I want to talk about the humans in this movie. They're just there. The little girl that these apes kind of take along with their journey just serves no purpose. I did not feel a thing for that character. Like, in the beginning of the movie, Caesar's family dies, and you're like, and that is like a huge thing. You feel the loss. You feel the weight of like what Caesar feels when he sees his dead wife and his dead son sitting in their little house, their little home or whatever, and you're just like, oh fuck, they're gonna get fucked over, and it just sets the tone immediately. Like, you know immediately what's going through Caesar's head. So you get a lot of weight there, but then when they find this human child, it's just like, okay, they're gonna bring her along because they can't leave her alone, and that's really all that her development is. Um, she, like, one of the apes dies, and she's like really sad. She starts crying. She puts the little flower petal that gorilla gave her, uh, back to him, but it didn't have the same impact as it would if they had more development together, or if they had a little bit more interactions, because so far it's just they find her, they take her to this place, they find another ape, and then the ape dies. It's just kind of it's just, you don't really see a lot of this development, and in this particular part of the movie just kind of drag in the center part of the movie, and it's fine. It doesn't really overstay its welcome. By the time you get really bored in the center half of the movie, it's off to the climax of the movie, which is good. But the human girl just served no purpose to me. I just did not really care, and that's an issue. Like, I cared about every other ape except for the little girl. I kind of cared for Woody Harrelson's character, and Woody Harrelson's character I thought was a good villain. I thought he was a very good antagonist for these apes, that you do feel little you don't want to like Woody Harrelson's character, and when you go into his motivations as to what he does, it is a little sympathetic. However, I don't remember if this was a plot point in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, so feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but when he starts talking about how humanity is devolving, becoming more primitive by this virus that was created by the serum that James Franco's character created in Rise to make these apes more intelligent, which was supposed to be the cure for Alzheimer's, it's now supposedly has either mutated or whatever to make these humans more primitive. And again, if it was something in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, that's fine. It's just that watching this movie as a standalone movie, it just kind of feels like that they just threw an idea out there and they didn't really put any development behind it. I know that in the beginning of the movie, there's this whole text exposition that they throw out, and that's good too. But if you missed that part, which I was trying to keep up with the subtitles or with the text on screen, you might miss some things. So I just thought that throwing that out there was just kind of weak, as a weak way to kind of give Woody Harrelson's character a motive that was understandable to the audience. It's not necessarily bad, it's just that because I liked ultimately what it tried to do with it. It tried to give this whole concept of, like, the apes are the ones that, we evolved from, and now they're inheriting the world while humanity is just kind of withering away. Like, it's this whole thing with man tampering with nature and then nature bouncing back and kind of reversing it, which was interesting. It was an interesting concept that they put forth. It was just that whole thing with the virus just felt kind of forced in there without any thought about it. It's just, okay, there's a virus that's been going on, and Woody Harrelson is like, it's just like, okay, so why is Woody Harrelson like the bad guy then? Because wouldn't other humans like be like, oh yeah, he has a point, because like these people lost the ability to speak, and this and that. Like, they had documented proof of this de-evolution happening, and no one took Woody Harrelson seriously. Or, like, what? It just kind of fell apart with that. The more you think about that, it just kind of doesn't really hold up. And that's really one of the major parts of that movie. I just could not look past. Everything else was superb in what it was trying to do. I liked the quiet moments in the movie. I liked the revenge plot, even though to me that should have been the main focus of the movie. It still was an entertaining film. If you liked the first two movies of this trilogy, you'll like this movie as well. I do recommend it if you're willing to check out a interesting summer summer action movie, or if you want to just go to the movies and see a movie, I do recommend this movie. It's really uh, I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites, but it's a good one. It's a good one. I think you won't be too disappointed by this film. It's just very good. The music is very memorable. I would give it an 8 out of 10 because I had a huge enjoyment out of this movie, and I never once went to sleep watching it. I was engaged from start to finish. Uh, and I like the ending. The ending was a really good ending. It was very emotional and touching, and it just kind of felt more final to me. If they make a fourth movie, I think that's doing a little too much for this trilogy. I think they should just end it here. As it's a good end. No need to do more. That's it for this on the spot review. See you for the next one.